So about 12 months ago, I started learning game development. And 12 months later, I already have 4 games that actually work. So I think it's time we take a look at what the games are and how they were made. It all started in March 2020 when I decided to start learning game development. So I watched some videos about game deving and designed a roadmap that was inspired by what I watched with the end goal of making bank. And sure, learning was hard. But when you have a passion, everything is fun. Moving on to 2 months later, I was really much confident in my newfound skills. So to test myself, I decided to test what I learned by making 4 games in a month, or as I usually call it, the Game Jam Month. So the first game I made was Mighty Maze, a 3D puzzle game where you're trapped in a maze and the only way to get to the exit is by following the sound. It took me a week to finish making it. The game had 4 levels, of which level 2 and level 4 are just duplicates of level 1 and 3. Lazy! And all I did was put the exit somewhere else and give it a different soundtrack. Also, the menu was just awesome. The second game I made was called House Arrest. Also took me a week to make the game, and it was nowhere near the idea I had in mind. The game was going to be about a case where you're placed under house arrest. Your mom leaves the house and says she'll be back 30 minutes later, and then in that 30 minutes you can do practically anything in the house. This was the game I was going to have everything like cutscenes, animation, narratives, HUDs, opening doors, triggers, coroutines, sandwiches. Then the truth hit me that the game just wasn't ready for me. So I decided to make something around the idea. So the game basically just became an exploration game and wasn't really much fun to play because all you were doing was just moving around. But I did use it to try out post-processing, animation, and using Unity's Pro Builder for modeling since I still had personal issues with learning Blender. And I also just borrowed a few soundtracks from LMMS and slapped it together, and that's it. Also, the menu was just awesome. At this point, I had a major burnout and decided to conclude the JGM by picking a game to focus on for the rest of the year. And by a vote of 6-0, Mighty Maze was declared the winner to make bank, but boy, I wasn't ready for what was to come. So before we continue, allow me to give an honorable mention to Rollerball. This is a game that was actually the first game that I made, though I don't consider it amongst the list because this was based off a tutorial series from the Brackets channel, and it wasn't my idea, so unlike the rest which were all my ideas. So yeah, but the game was still fun to play. Also, the menu was just so I decided to remake Mighty Maze and make bank off of it. But I became overly ambitious and ended up developing feature creep and also doing a lot of action faking because all the plans I had in that roadmap, remember that one I showed at the beginning? Yep, literally just went down the drain because I kept making excuses for my awesomeness. Well, it only lasted till November when everything fell apart. So there I was, with myself trying to figure out the meaning of my life and purpose in this life. And I was near quitting when I remembered why I started doing this in the first place. So I deleted the junk project I had been doing for so long, made another roadmap, and spent the next 2 months making Mighty Maze better once again. So we have Mighty Maze, a 3D puzzle game where you're trapped in a maze and the only way to get to the exit is by following the sound. The level design was my main goal here, with level 1, which was inspired by my wish to always go to an aquarium, since I've never been to one, so I made a level, like an aquarium, but with holographic fish and yes, holographic sharks. Level 2 was like a nightclub level I played in Max Payne 3, so I made it like that as well. I mean, just look at the food. Level 3, well, I like forests, so I tried my best to improve the forest design. And yeah, I didn't come out the best of the levels, but I did learn a lot. I did learn a lot from it. Yeah, this is the only game that I released on itch.io for people anywhere around the world to play, and I guess this concluded the year for me. Also, the menu was just awesome. The wars in Blender will eventually come to an end, and I'll conquer it for sure. And also, instead of approaching photorealism, those type of new in graphics now, I'm taking my hands at toon shading and many other exciting things I want to achieve in future. Well, we finally come to the end of the video. So, I actually forgot to say this, but hi and welcome to Vanderground Studios. If you liked the video, you can hit the like button and subscribe so that you know when the next video will arrive. Alright? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.